Good evening, and thank you for watching the Town Council meeting for February 25th, 2019. Peter May got called away on business suddenly, so I will be taking over the chair duties for tonight. We'll start tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance, so if I could ask everybody to rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public participation, Sherry?
No.
Okay. So we will start right off with the presentation by the Wakefield Alliance Against Violence.
Thank you, Tony. First, I would like to thank town councilors for having us before them to tell you all about the White Ribbon campaign and how WAVE in Wakefield Alliance Against Violence, is going to be involved. First of all, the White Ribbon campaign was designed especially with men in mind at the time, and it was created by a handful of Canadian men in 1991 on the second anniversary of one man's massacre of 14 women in Montreal. They began the White Ribbon campaign to urge men to speak out against violence against women. Today, the White Ribbon campaign is a worldwide campaign in 60 countries and has collected well over 5 million signatures and growing. WAVE here in Wakefield has got quite a busy month ahead of them. The banner that goes up over Main Street in front of the Civic Center will be going up next week. And also, there will be white ribbons available at the police department, the library, and the town hall, along with some posters will also be there with the white ribbons. Another thing that we're doing this month is we are also helping to sponsor with the police department, who in conjunction with Respond, they are sponsoring a, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, teen dating violence workshop for local parents and caregivers of preteens and adolescents. And this is on Thursday, March 7th, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Wakefield Police Department, 1 Union Street. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, so just 1 month later, this workshop is designed to help educate parents on the prevalence of teen dating violence, increase their awareness around the signs, and equip them with strategies for prevention and intervention. And I just want to add also that this is for parents and adults, not for the teenagers. You can go to RSVP for this evening to Sierra at respondinc.org. That's Sierra, C-E-A-R-A, at respondinc.org. The White Ribbon Campaign event this year, which will be the third year that WAVE has sponsored this evening, will be on March 26th at 7 p.m. at the Savings Bank Theater. That's where we are hoping we'll have lots of participants coming to take the pledge. We also will have a keynote speaker that evening. The man is his name is Mike, apparently no last name, but Mike is the Residential Services Coordinator for Respond, and we are co-sponsoring the evening with, they are co-sponsoring the evening with us. I'm sorry, again. There is an electronic copy of the pledge online that I have for all of you to take a copy tonight, and if you would go online, take the pledge and sign it, and then still come to our event on the 26th. We'd like to get as many people there as possible to make this event even more successful than it has been in the last couple of years. It's very impressive. There'll be a couple of interesting, sad stories of victims from the past. And also this evening, I think Chief Smith is going to speak on behalf of WAVE and the White Ribbon Campaign. So you're welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Just briefly, I think everybody in this room understands and recognizes the work that WAVE has done over the years. We've been together as an organization for 13 years now. We've made incredible strides in awareness around the community. And I think that WAVE is making a difference in the community. Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month is a big deal. As Mary said, it's an international event involving thousands and thousands of people, focusing mostly on men. So what I would like to do as your police chief is I want to offer a challenge to every man in this room, and with the help of Steve, I would like to extend that challenge to the managers and the male employees at Town Hall, that we come together, sign the pledge maybe collectively, and show a support townwide. The men of the Wakefield Police Department, and I can speak confidently about DPW as well as the Fire Department, are going to be signing on, and like we did in years past. So what I would like to do, as I just said, extend that challenge to everybody in this room, as well as every male that works in Town Hall. Haven't said that, Mary?
Okay, all right, that's fine, that's a challenge, we all love challenges, correct? And just one more thing, anyone interested in joining WAVE or coming to listen to us and see what we're all about, we meet the third Wednesday of every month right here at WCAT at 8:30 in the morning, except during vacation week when we meet the fourth Wednesday of the month. So hope to see some new faces, and thank you again for having us here tonight. We have these pledges for you folks to take a look at, and we also have some little white ribbons for you to take and wear, and I'll be out in town looking to see which one of you are wearing the white ribbon. Thank you again for having us.
Oh, thank you, Mary.
Thank you so much.
Any questions from the board? Oh,
You want to take this with you? Or you can do that.
Thank you.
Chair, can I just
yes.
speak? So, just to speak as thank you all for coming as the town council liaison to the group. I'm so excited to work on this, and I just want to reiterate, this is a pledge. It's the third year that in town you guys are asking men to sign up on the pledge, and we've organized it a little differently this year. So the link is on our Facebook page, and it will be on the website shortly. And so just go to the Facebook page, WAVE, go to WAVE, waveonline.org,
Yeah.
our website, and you can sign on, and we will have a list of everyone in town that sign on. So go do that today, and it'll be on the website later on in the week.
Thank you again.
Thank you for coming, and Steve, let's make sure we get that at Town Hall happening.
Mary, what time does it start on the 26th?
7.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next coming up, we have budgets. We have a couple of small budgets tonight. So Kevin, if you could take the stand. Did we lose Kevin? Here's the man of the... Thanks for coming tonight, Kevin.
We're here.
Not that
Thank you,
you-
Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
members of the council. First budget tonight that we'll be looking at is the town's IT department. We have Todd Bowden here, our IT director. The fiscal 2020 budget, we are recommending a decrease over the current year of $1,777. This breaks down under personal services. There's a decrease of $61. If you see on page 5, salaries have actually increased $34,142, but they are offset by a reduction in the overtime line item of $1,203 and an increase of the transfers of $33,000. This includes contractual and negotiated increases, also includes additional duties and responsibilities. Under contractual services, there's a decrease of $1,716. The following changes is an increase in software maintenance of $1,284, a decrease in the training line item of $2,000, a decrease in professional services of $2,000 based on current and prior year usage, and a decrease in the travel line item of $1,000. The total budget request for fiscal 2020 is $351,244.
Yes.
If you don't mind. I usually like to wait to the end, but I wanted to point out a couple of things that I think this department is such a success story. We have the right people in place, and I thank you, Todd, and your crew for the great work they do. What is amazing is the synergy between, call it the town IT department and the school school department, but they really are working very well together. So I hate to make those distinctions, but a lot of the items that our in-house staff has taken over, the school department was paying outside vendors to do, at more money than is being transferred over to here. So this is a win-win for the town. They're getting better service and better service and paying for less, which is, I think, what we really try to do. So it's a great job by this crew, and I couldn't be prouder. I want to thank you and your staff.
Thanks, Todd. Yep.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the IT budget for $351,244 stated on by Mr. Gill.
Second.
Questions?
Great job.
That is a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kevin, I just had a question on page 2. Looking at the software maintenance, I see that midway through fiscal 19, we're at 75. But we've only budgeted 117,564. Is that like more of a timing issue, or
It's a timing. We pay up front for the full year.
Okay.
So a lot of it's front-loaded.
All right, so it's not like that's going to be doubled.
Correct.
By June 30th then?
No.
Okay.
Julie?
It may be more of a question for Steve, but I know we've talked in the past about things like online forms and making things more automatic, and I just wonder whether that's under this department or how those kinds of things get handled.
Partially, but we've also been working with some of the software providers on that, so it's kind of a collaborative effort between them, and you're going to see a lot of interesting things happening in the next year. But Todd and his crew is very involved, so yes.
I just want to thank Todd for getting us all set up on our emails.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yep.
thank you.
Oh, you don't have to show me how to put that on my phone, though.
Stick to the subject, folks.
Yeah, it may not be. It may take a long time.
There goes the decrease in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Killed it.
Any further questions? So the motion on the floor is to approve the IT budget in the amount of $351,244,000. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you very much.
Next budget is the inspectional services budget. We have Jack Roberto and Joe O'Callahan. Jack is the building inspector. Joe O'Callahan is the assistant building director in the back. For the fiscal 2020 budget, we are recommending an increase of the fiscal 19 budget of $8,272. This breaks down, we increase personal services, $7,672. Overall, the salaries increased $22,630, but were offset by an increase to the Linfield reimbursement, where we share Jack's services with the town of Linfield. These salary increases are contractual and negotiated increases. Under materials and supplies, we also increased the uniform line item $600, which is a contractual item. Main expenses within this budget, vehicle allowance, $4,500, which is a contractual line item. Printing, $1,500, which is used to print various applications. In the telephone line item, $5,000, which we are reimbursed from Linfield, up to 40% of that. This is a revenue-producing budget. Our department in fiscal '18, we collected over $675,000 in the building department. In year-to-date so far in fiscal '19, we're over $425,000. The total budget request for fiscal 2020 is $312,608.
I move that we accept the inspectional services budget at $312,608.
Second.
Discussions?
Go ahead, I'll defer.
Oh,
I was just, I don't know if it's for Kevin or Steve, but the Linfield reimbursement, anything that we can do to try to have that town pay more towards this? I know it's a common question when we have these shared arrangements, but, what can we do
Well,
relative to that?
we have negotiated those contracts, they're 3-year contracts for the most part. As things change in this department, we'll be reviewing that in the next year, probably, actually midway through the next fiscal year, so. Yes, other things we can do, yes.
Do we feel like it's
I feel it's fair.
Right
Right now, I
sized
think
currently?
it's right-sized right now, yeah. But again, I wanted to, if I could jump in if there are any more questions. Again, for those of you who know how my day starts at Town Hall, I start every morning in the building department, really to find out what's going on, what happened last, things, because Jack gets called in the middle of the night, a car goes through Dunkin' Donuts or something, and he's down there. And town owes a great debt of gratitude to Jack, all the hard work and that he's done, but also the spreadsheet that he's kept in his head regarding zoning issues and what in 2 communities, and really, people in this community should be very pleased and very happy about how protected they are because of the work that he's done. So, Jack, thank you so much.
I have a question for you, Jack.
He just gets free coffee.
I have to make it
It's the
myself.
frugal nature, Mr. Mayo.
We all chip in $20 every other week, but it seems as though Steve doesn't chip in at all.
Quick question on our favorite project on Main Street. When are we
Yes.
gonna have that sidewalk back?
They started the facade probably in a month, maybe 6 weeks. It's been tough. They had a lot of brickwork there. They had to envelope the building and heat it. They really don't have enough men there, to be honest with you, to finish the project. They're probably about, I would say, 3 to 4 months behind.
Wow.
Yeah.
I voiced my safety issues to you and Stephen a couple of
I'm
times
aware of
and
that.
with those
It's a
Galvin,
tough
especially with the
site,
Galvin
but-
students.
With all due respect to the contractor, he needs more people there.
Okay. Maybe it's time we sit down with the contractor again.
We could do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any further questions? The motion on the floor is to approve the building department inspectional services budget for the amount of $312,608. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
I know you're busy tonight. Next, we have the library budget.
Next budget is the library budget. We have Catherine McDonald here, and we have some trustees also. I'll go over very quickly and then turn it over to Catherine. Library budget, we're requesting an increase of $77,319 over last year's budget. The salaries have increased $75,028, which is contractual and negotiated increases. Under contractual services, the increase is $881, and materials and supplies have increased $1,410. The total budget request for 2020 is $1,729,791, with $1,687,835 coming from tax levy, and $41,956 coming from available funds, which are library trust funds.
I move that we accept the library budget for $1,729,791.
Second.
Discussion? Ian?
I really appreciated how the budget was broken down. It seems to me much more in a line item way than we've had in the past, so it was really interesting to see. Clearly you spent a lot of time making sure all the details and how meticulously the money is spent, so it's really easy to see where this money is going. So I appreciated that the budget was very easy to go through, and we could see it's a big ticket item, the library, but it's also one of our gems, and it's something this town has always put forth as one of the special places that we want to keep up, in Sunday hours and things like that. So I thank you so much for myself, who uses the library more overdrive lately, because I'm at home, but I love it. Thank you.
Did you have anything you wanted to say, Kathy?
Popular. I started out as the bookkeeper, so line items are dear to my heart.
Paul?
Catherine, your department does a great job every year. Very proud of the library and what it does for the community. A question, though. We do the Wakefield 101 now, a number of times a year. Steve and I had talked at one point doing something similar to that, but make business, how businesses need the extra help with questions by having town departments
Oh, I see.
in place of, you follow what I'm saying? So welcome to Wakefield for residents is one thing, but welcome to Wakefield for a
For
business.
businesses.
Okay, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of items that we could address to a new business coming in that they may not know firsthand.
Right,
So I mean, if there's something like that that could possibly be worked into
right.
your schedule, I'm not sure, I don't want to add more to what you
Oh,
already
no,
do.
absolutely. One of the biggest things that we're doing now is partnering with people within town. The staff wants very much to identify what the needs are, rather than have it be top-down, we're going to tell you what you all need, what you would all like. We're sort of looking at what the needs are. And sometimes people don't think of the library as an option to solve some problems. So exactly what you're talking about is the kind of things that we're looking to do. And where we can partner, we have partnered with the Sustainability Committee. And so we have a staff of professional people who can do research and provide information and we're there 69 hours a week. So it's a really good resource. So anybody who wants to partner, we more than welcome that.
So is that something that I can coordinate with you, Mr. Mayor?
Sure, yeah.
So I think that'd be something
Just call anytime, email
worthwhile.
me, and we'll set something up, yeah.
Most of them don't have any idea of the zoning requirements, the licensing requirements, or who they have to go to talk to in order to establish themselves firsthand. If there was something out there, even for the existing businesses, I think it would be a great idea. But other than that, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mary?
Catherine, thank you so much for all that you do. It's always so great to go to the programmings and go to the book club. Can you talk a little bit, I mentioned it a couple meetings ago, but can you talk about the strategic vision that you have to do and tell
Yes.
everyone about that and the timeline?
We, libraries in Massachusetts are required to have a strategic plan, and so now is our time. And we have action plans yearly. So we're currently in a strategic planning process, and we have a consultant working with us. And there's a strategic advisory committee who is kind of following what we're doing. We just put out a call today for a forum for people who wanted to join a focus group and had immediate responses. So I think that people are interested, and it will help direct us as we move forward. Because as I said earlier, you want to do the things that the town needs. You want to respond to maybe needs that I am not aware of in my little bubble, but other people can tell me about. So that's sort of what we're looking at. What are the kinds of things that we can do? And libraries are great resources because they're kind of like Switzerland. Everybody's welcome there. Nobody has an opinion. You know, we just, it's all about the information. It's all about welcoming and exploring those kinds of things. So That will be finished by September 1st, and we'll have a new plan. So anybody who's interested in being involved in that, just email the library, email at wakefieldlibrary.org, and whoever's on the reference desk will get back to you. You're welcome.
Julie?
I just wanted to echo what everybody said, and thank you. I mean, the partnership with Sustainable Wakefield has been amazing.
It's been great.
It's been a really great, and hats off to Jackie and Karen for that. I just wanted to, I think another area where a lot of people don't realize that you're very involved is with the community calendar. And I wanted to just thank you for managing that on behalf of the town, and you've always been very responsive. I wish we could brainstorm a little more on how we could make it more dominant in the age of Facebook. But it's a wonderful resource, and I thank you very much for having it.
It
and
needs
maintaining
that
it.
tipping point where people are using it. And it has full access to anybody who wants to put an event on there. And it's on the town website as well, so
Right.
people have access to it directly through the town, not just through the library. So it's a great resource. And
Yeah.
if you're planning an event, you can look and see what everybody else is doing. So you're not having your auction at the same time as the PTO is.
Yeah, I think we need to get it to the point that it's more used, and then it will
That
be.
people think of it.
And people think of it, but it's very easy. You have to fill out a form, and that might put people off, but it's very, very easy. The form is easy, and you're so responsive. So I do encourage everybody for their events that it's probably an underutilized resource.
Yeah, it's a great resource.
And you also have the Blossoms event this year?
Blossoms is coming up the last Saturday in April.
Yep, it is, for
Yes.
those of you at home, it's probably one of the premier events in town, and it's for a great cause.
It's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
yes.
Masquerade Ball this
Masquerade
Masquerade
ball
ball.
this year. That's
Ed?
easy, just a mask.
Yeah.
You can wear whatever you want, just put the mask.
Tickets on sale yet?
I don't think so.
They're online,
Online?
so I don't
Excellent.
think we actually have the tickets themselves, but, yeah, you can get them.
Excellent.
You can get them.
Ed?
Catherine, just echoing what Ann said, the amount of detail in this budget is very helpful.
Good.
The line items are so nice to see. Question for you about utilization or usage. I don't really know what the terminology would be. I know you mentioned here that there's a lot more e-materials that patrons are taking advantage of. I'm just trying to get a sense of how many people this past year have made use of the library in some way. Do you have a sense of not just people walking through the doors, obviously, because the online presence is growing each year as well?
Right. I can't tell exactly, we know that there's 10,000 cards, say, that are in use at any given time. The thing about the digital materials is that we are very high at circulation right now. 2016 was our highest year, and we're pretty close to that. And 2016 was the year that Reading was closed. So we are very close to that. And when I looked at statistics today, I found that the digital materials are going up about 1% every year. So in 2016, it was 3% of our circulation. In 2017, it was 4%, and last year it was 5%. Now this year, the Noble has allowed us access to materials from all over the state. So there's so many more materials, and once people get used to how easy it is to get that and how much material is actually there, and it's all free. So if you have Netflix and if you have things that you're paying for, this is equivalent to that. The other thing that we're going to start doing is having people come in and giving them classes as to how to get this on your device. Because I think if you tried it a few years ago, it was difficult, and it's not so difficult anymore. There are some apps that are really simple. If you're commuting and you want it in your car, the audiobooks are through the roof.
Wow.
And it's unfortunate that those are the most expensive things to buy.
Yeah.
But they are what people really enjoy. I think they walk with them. And so those are really, really popular. But we have a lot of new materials, so we really watch. We're also collecting in a different way. I think you're developing your collection is a little bit of an art, a little bit of a science, and we have a whole new group of people who are doing it a whole new way. And we have a new population. You know, the population's changing a little bit, so we're trying some new things, and we're seeing some good results. We've moved some things around the building. The idea is to encourage people to use it because they've purchased it. It belongs to everyone in town, so make access of it.
I just think that's so important, looking at the budgeting and understanding that these line items may shift over time, like you say, the audiobooks being so popular now. Digital content might be something that in years to come, those numbers might go up, whereas, hard copy or hardcovers might be different, but I think the adaptability of the library is a real testament to its success going forward, because that's such an important element to be able to be nimble and
Yes,
address,
exactly, exactly.
demands.
And I will say that our particular staff is one of the nimblest I've ever seen. I think the library is so good because the staff is just so nimble and so flexible. We're open 69 hours a week, and you can see how many people, there's 14 full-time people, 14 part-time people, and they're covering 3 desks on 3 floors, and they're going out of the building almost any time somebody calls. So they had an opportunity to look at the recycling plant. That was a scheduling event because whoever went to the recycling plant, the library's still open. Somebody has to staff, somebody has to check out. And they're really, really good at doing that and being able to catch what's important and do the things that are important and still keep the place running. The collection development has become very complicated because you have so much money and the prices are always changing, and digital materials are very strange because you don't own them, they're licenses. So the models are all very different, and that's a little bit complicated. So we have a team of people who stay on top of that, and Noble is very helpful. They help us manage that too.
Any further questions? Good. The motion on the floor is to approve the library budget, the amount of $1,729,791. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none? Carries. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
Jeffrey, Kevin.
Thanks.
Next up, retirement.
Next budget is the retirement budget. We have Kathy Cheek here. Kathy is the director of our retirement system. We are requesting an increase over last year's budget in the amount of $435,010. This increase breaks down under the contributory tax levy portion. The increase is $345,124. The non-contrib tax levy portion is increased $153. And the water, sewer, and light department transfers increased in total an amount of $89,733. This budget is based on a funding schedule voted by the Wakefield Retirement Board, which runs through 2036, and is based on a January 2018 valuation. The funding ratio currently is 65.3%, and the investment return we use is 7.5%. The total budget request for 2020 is $6,275,187, with $4,992,715 coming from tax levy and $1,282,472 coming from enterprise transfers.
I move that we accept the retirement budget at $6,275,187.
Questions? Ed?
I think it's, Kevin and Steve, I think it's less so about this fiscal year, but looking at page 4 where it talks about the projections out, it's fair to say that if you look over the next several years, we're looking at some pretty steady increases in this, right? For the appropriation, I mean, we're talking about 2020 now, but by 2024, we're looking at about an additional $2 million investment. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah,
That's correct.
that's correct, yeah.
So I think it's just, from like a strategic standpoint for us as a body, I think we need to be mindful that this is not something that's going to be increasing at 3% per year or something. This is a pretty big nut to crack, kind of going forward, and we're going to have to be.
And it is based on reaching that full, funding by 2036.
Right,
So-
understand, and it's rather formulaic, I mean, we don't
Yeah.
have a lot of give in that, but I think it's more of a cautionary that, when we're looking at that kind of an increase, I mean, going from 6.3 up to 8.3, really 8.4 in just that number of
5
fiscal
years.
years, that's a really significant jump
Yeah.
that I think we need to be mindful of, because it's gonna.
The only good thing is that we can actually forecast for this one.
Right, no,
So
exactly.
that's actually,
No,
that's
sure,
helpful.
certainly.
But Kevin and I have those discussions a lot.
Yeah.
On this budget.
And we can't make Litchfield pay for any more of this.
No, we can't. No. Kathy's trying.
Any further questions? Motion on the floor is to approve the retirement board budget at $6,275,187. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy.
Next up, town council.
Next budget is the town council budget. I do want to point out, we have Jen McDonald in the back. Jen is our new media specialist.
Jen, there are 2 empty seats up there. One's for you.
This budget, we're requesting an increase of $23,910 over last year. This increase breaks down $12,810 to the tax levy and $11,100 to the water and sewer enterprise accounts. This increase is all in personal services and is for contractual and negotiated increases. The main expenses within this budget, the cost to print the town report, $3,000. The cost in the advertising line item, $15,000, which is used to advertise town meeting, town warrants, town council hearings. In the professional services line item, which is used mainly for the town's traffic engineer, VHB, $20,000. The total budget request for 2020 is $498,341, with $448,404 coming from tax levy and $49,937 coming from a water and sewer transfer.
I move that we accept this budget for $498,000, $498,341.
Questions?
I just say that Jen has done an unbelievable job since she came on board, and I want to thank her, and that's why I dragged her out here tonight, because I thought maybe the board wanted to have some questions, but they all say they like my tan, too, and that's because of you, so thank you very much.
Why is that?
Town administrator notes.
Oh.
No, not my tan, the town administrator notes.
You had me too. Yeah. Good. We all appreciate the work you do, Jen.
Thank you.
Hey, we do have questions. Maureen?
Yeah, Jen, you're doing a great job, so thank you. I actually had a question. Kevin, didn't we already do a town council budget?
Miscellaneous town council.
Okay, so you separate those?
Correct,
Okay,
yes.
because that was where we put, like, the Human Rights Commission was in that
Yes,
budget.
correct.
Okay.
Why do we do that? Why are there two
Julie?
separate budgets? Sorry.
Yeah, so follow up on Julie's question, why do we break it up into two?
Historically, it's been broken out that way, that it's, we could combine if that's the wish, but it's just historically, it's been split out. And to keep track of the expenses, just for historical purposes, we've kept it up that way, so.
Julie?
No, thank you for answering the question. That was my question.
We can combine them, though. I think we talked about that last time, actually, so we certainly can.
It seems to
Yeah,
be a
I
little
know.
more logical, but, and I guess, can I follow up then?
Yes.
I just want to say that I spent some time with Jen, and you're doing wonderful work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For all you're doing. I know that there's a lot of work still to be done, and you have our support, I think I can safely say, from this board.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of the work, honestly, that has taken the most of my time has been stuff that you probably haven't seen yet, and that's with the website. I know we just talked about the community calendar in the library. The platform that the website sits on is a technology that has expired. It's a third-party Civic Plus virtual town hall. In my research, I think they do 99.8% of all the cities and towns in the country, and they need us to upgrade to their new
technology. So that's an opportunity to really overhaul the site. When it was first built, it probably served its purpose, but websites have a lifespan, and I think we have outgrown the bones that were kind of built. But the thing that has to be done before you can move everything over is kind of weed out all the files in the back end, and there are thousands of files. There are news posts dating back to 2015 and pages that are, unlinked but not unpublished, and all those things come up in search and create a really frustrating user experience. So I've been meeting with each department to understand their section of the site, what needs to be up there, what is no longer relevant or there's updated versions of, what files kind of linger in the back end can we get rid of. And then at that point, once everything's really clean, then we can look at creating a new design, something that's more user-centric, something that perhaps is a little more modern. So a lot of the work that I do all day, I feel like no one has really seen yet, but we're getting there.
Thank you. Ed?
And first, Jen, I think you've been doing a great job, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I think that you're a great resource that is still, at this point, underutilized. And one thing that I'd like to see the departments do more is streamline more communication through you, because I think consistency of messaging and communications would be really helpful. I think that's a real value add to this position. And it also takes some of the work off of various departments to do things that don't really fall within their core competencies, but they do fall within yours. So I think to the extent we can think about ways to be able to better develop those relationships so that Jen is seen as the resource or the go-to with respect to pushing out communications, I think that's really where we should see this position going forward, because it doesn't make sense for each department to kind of be doing their own thing with that. I think anything that they do that can complement that is fine, certainly, but I'd like to see you being the communications powerhouse relative to that, because you're really best positioned to do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's something that will take time because this is a new position. So it's kind of changing people's former processes to insert myself into the funnel. I did just start the initial parts of a style guide for town hall communications, I'd call them. It's based on what the branding committee did last year. They selected for, kind of the environmental, the kiosks, the wayfinding. They created a color palette and some font choices. So to build upon that and create a style guide to really govern what the voice, the look, the writing style is of town hall, I think will really start to make things seem a lot more cohesive, not just within town hall, so that when you say grab a business card from Department A, it feels like the application from Department B and sounds like the newsletter from Department C, but then is all supported by what people are seeing environmentally. So kind of building one greater guide. And honestly, it will be less work for everybody else. It's just, it will take time to change people's process.
Thank you. Any further questions from the board? The motion on the floor is to accept the town council budget for the amount of $498,341. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
The last budget tonight will be the accounting budget. We're recommending an increase of $11,657 over last year. This increase breaks down $10,849 coming from the tax levy, $808 coming from a water and sewer transfer. This increase breaks down under personal services. The increase is $8,849, which is contractual and negotiated increases. The increase under contractual services is $2,500. This is under the professional services line item, and this is used for the town audit. Main expenses within this budget, $28,000 under equipment rental. We combine with several other departments. We have 7 copy machines and 2 high-speed printers. $57,000 for professional services, which is the town audit, and $8,000 for postage, which is used to mail the accounts payable checks. The total budget request for 2020 is $416,327, with $397,355 coming from tax levy and $18,972 coming from a water and sewer transfer.
I move we accept the accounting budget at $416,327.
Second.
Questions, comments? No, Julie?
Just, I see there's, the personnel is listed and there's some as retired. Is that a position that's being replaced or?
Yes, if you go down, there was three.
Okay.
And there is three again.
Okay, so
Yep.
we're at full staff on this?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Any further questions? So the motion on the floor is to approve the accounting budget for $416,327. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Have a good night.
Scroll down to the next item. Yep. We have the sale of surplus equipment. The Department of Public Works is requesting authorization to auction the surplus equipment listed below. Funds received for items number 2 through 9 will be deposited in the general fund. Funds received for item number 10 will be deposited in the sewer enterprise fund, and funds received for item 1 will be deposited in the water enterprise fund. Do I need to name these individually?
No, you don't have to.
Okay. Some of this equipment is older than some of our council.
I don't anticipate getting a lot of money for the 1972 Hobart portable welder, but whatever we get.
1970s era.
Yes.
Yeah. So I need a motion.
I'm just curious, do you have an idea of how much we do get from all of this?
I will let you know when we do get it and
You-
go to auction, yeah.
That would be
Yeah,
great.
we'll know. But it's not gonna break the bank, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I move that we allow DPW to put the surplus equipment out to auction.
Second.
Questions, comments? We do use a professional service, and we have used the same company for some time, Steve, correct?
Correct, yep.
So the motion on the floor is that we approve the sale of the auction of surplus equipment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. The next question is that the town of Wakefield discontinue the use of the AccuVote voting machines and approve the use of the ImageCast precinct system. Steve, do you want to touch on
Yeah,
that?
very quickly, the council may recall, there was a part of the capital plan at town meeting a year or two ago, was to purchase new voting tabulation machines. They get old, they break down, and we can't have that at elections, obviously. Went out to bid, and the company LHS, which I think has 250 communities in Massachusetts and is approved by the Secretary of State, and approved by the U.S. Assistant Election Commission, won the bid, and these are the tabulating machines. Maybe you've seen them when you vote. This is where you put your ballot through after you vote. So they'll all be replaced and ready for our election coming up.
Good.
And because it is election machinery, we need to actually go through the Secretary of State. This is their language to, negate the old machines and use the new ones.
Okay. I need a motion?
I move that we accept the new ImageCast precinct ICP voting system technology
And discontinue the use of the AccuVote.
and discontinue the use of the AccuVote.
Has been- okay, Thank you.
Julie?
I don't recall the details of the capital budget. Did we use this whole amount, and what was the estimate on this?
We, was I believe 55,000, and between what we actually got for the old machines, because they'll use them for
Okay.
parts for some communities that can't do it, it's right around 55, so it came in right where we wanted. Yeah.
Thank you. Good.
Mary?
When we order these, will they be ready by April election?
That's the plan, yeah.
Great.
Yeah. There'll be training, and the training's included, not that they're much different, but, yeah.
Ed?
I understand that the company's in a lot of communities. Do we know anything about this particular machinery, how it compares to
That's
the
where
others?
people are going to. It's the new state-of-the-art
Like
machine,
this
so-
particular?
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's really in line with what
Absolutely.
other
Yeah,
communities are doing?
exactly, yeah.
Any further questions? So the motion on the floor is that the town of Wakefield discontinue use of the AccuVote machines and approve the use of the ImageCast precinct system. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Next up is the Wakefield Community Partnership, request for a North Ave block party, April 13th. The Festival Italia 10th Anniversary Celebration, August 24th, with a rain date of August 31st. October Fest on October 5th, and the Holiday Stroll on December 7th, 2019. Paul?
I'll make a motion to approve the 4 dates as presented for the,
Second for discussion.
Second. Open for discussion? Paul?
4 dates were presented at a meeting in order to advance the opportunities to start advertising for all of them that need to go out to institutions and corporations. So with that said, that the earliness of just securing the dates is being presented.
Julie?
I'm just curious what that means to secure the dates. Are we also agreeing to street closures and details and things like that?
Paul, we'll go with you.
There are two sheets. So one was the first sheet,
Yeah.
and then
I
if
see
you
that.
look at the second sheet that was done, it actually defines the sheet that's dated 2/25.
Right, it defines what the April 13th is, but not what the others.
And at the
the two
bottom-
we know about, but the Oktoberfest, I guess I'm just curious, like, what we're actually voting on.
I think we're just approving on the dates.
So we can just approve the dates.
You're approving the date, yes. So why don't we have John and Katie come up here and do this so that.
Great, that would be great.
Okay.
I think that would be good. Thank you.
John, Katie, thank you for coming tonight.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. So, let's roll.
So what can we answer as far as,
So I think it's a question more for this. So when we approve these 4 dates, what are we approving? I mean, I've been probably through at least one cycle on this where with Festival Italia and the Stroll, there's street closures and activities. And is it similar for the other 2 events?
it is?
Yep. Yep. So really, kind of as it explains in this letter, is that we'll kind of become more specific with what will be happening 6 to 8 weeks prior to each event. But we just want to be able to start advertising when the events are going to be, as well as letting businesses know and people that might be attending. So we just want kind of your approval and your, I guess, kind of we want to know you're with us on these dates.
And so that the dates aren't a surprise,
That makes
that
sense.
we've pre-planned.
And thank you. I should really preface it by saying thank you for all you're doing for the community. And these seem like
Thank
they're
you.
going to be really great events.
So that's why, you'll notice the April 13th one, you have more information, because we're kind of in phase 2 of that one. That's in the 6 to 8 week window. And we'll be back with the others.
And how has outreach on that one gone? People are seeming excited
Excited.
about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
North Ave is very glad to be part of
I
a
can see.
community event.
Good.
Any other questions? I see you're, Ed, you thinking about it?
I'll just say that I think, these are great opportunities. I like the fact that you guys are looking to kind of expand the focus and the scope. I know for a long time you've had success with Festival Italia and Stroll, but the idea of being able to have some of these other pop-up events, I think that's the sort of thing that we need to really try to, have some more energy and some more draws, within the downtown. So thank you for doing that, and I look forward to more of the detail. I think the detail you provide relative to the upcoming April event is exciting. I think there's, and I think I appreciate the fact you guys are thinking in different ways and trying to be creative in what you're doing. So to the extent that we can be supportive, I'm happy to do so.
Great. Well, we hope to see most, if not all of you, at all of our events.
And
Something I asked Paul a few weeks ago, and not that I don't love my Italians, but has there ever been a discussion about changing the name of Festival Italia? Because it seems like so much more of an international food event. It's not just an Italian.
We haven't discussed that amongst
Okay.
the board. If you think it's something that's worthwhile to investigate, we're happy to bring that to the board and discuss.
Well, just because I think that a lot of the foods I'm tasting from are not from our Italian restaurants either. The Sakura is always out there, shucking a public kitchen. So I don't know if, I'm not, we can embrace the Italian culture as well,
John,
and international.
I'm going to give you my 2 cents on this, John. In full disclosure, I'm Italian. That
And in
this year
full
we-
disclosure, I'm married to so.
This year, we go with the 10-year, just because it is the 10-year Festival Italia, but after that, then maybe we look at changing the name.
Just to discuss it.
Yeah. But I always seem to end up at Harrington's. Any further questions from the board? So the motion on the floor is to approve the Wakefield Community Partnership North Ave Block Party on April 13th, the 10th anniversary of the Festival Italia, April 24th, with a rain date of the 31st, Oktoberfest, which I think is a great idea, October 5th, and the Holiday Stroll, December 7th. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none. Thank you.
Thank you
very
very
Thank you for your
much.
time.
Very much.
Mr. Long,
Oh.
just to make sure that we address Julie's concern, though, with that, we will have them bring in for the other 3
Plans.
information plans before the event. So,
Thank you, Paul.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
So I have the Main Streets event on March 16th. I don't have a lot of details on that. Steve?
I think that the board did receive a letter that came in, it was later, did not make, and they came in after the package. They're looking to do a pop-up event, and no one was able to come here from Main Streets tonight on March 16th.
I'm sorry, here it is.
Requesting the shutdown area from 3 to 8 p.m. For another one of these pop-ups, thinking getting people down in the afternoon of
March 16th.
March 16th,
Yep.
which is the St. Patrick's Day weekend. It is a very limited area on Albion Street from Main Street to Foster, which is right before the item. So if you're not familiar with that.
just a little block.
Just that little block, right there. So it's just a block. We would be meeting with police, fire, DPW, as we do with all these events, and we have those down by now. The Wakefield Main Streets will have to fill out a actual liquor license application, depending on how this goes here. So that will be forthcoming, but this came in late to me, so I brought it late to you.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion and then wait for discussion after that. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the initial request that they have and get a second for discussion.
Second.
Discussion?
Thank you, Tony. Barring not having anyone here and me not having the information, but I did read it, I appreciate what they're trying to do here, and I support what they're trying to do here. The area in question is a great area to be closed down. It'll still allow for access to the end of Albion Street by using Foster Street, because that will remain open. It's an activity that we used to have once before that they can bring back into it. If we approve this tonight, I would ask that the alcohol end of it be subject to Main Street's completing the alcohol application form and being submitted into the satisfaction of Mr. Mayo as soon as possible, so that we can have it on our next agenda as well, because we need the.
Well, then they don't get their liquor.
Right.
It's that simple.
Right.
Right, so we're just moving forward, just make sure to make them aware that this has to happen if we're going to move forward with this. But I would make the motion, or make the motion that we authorize this. What are the actual hours of the event, Mr. Mayo? I don't have the.
3 to 8.
3 to 8, including setup and shutdown, but 4 to 7 for the actual event.
So it's a 3-hour.
Yeah.
I'm not, I think 3 hours is not too long of an event. If it was a 5-hour, I can say yes. That may be.
Is that a Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Do we know how, have they talked to businesses to see?
Yes.
How, okay,
I'm assuming they have.
Yep.
okay.
I can't.
Maureen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, it's a little uncomfortable them not being here and it's a new event and we have these questions that they're not able to answer. I actually would say we have another meeting before and, it's close, but I think we wait till March 11th when they get the paperwork in. I don't feel comfortable voting when nobody's here on a new event that they didn't submit information and it sounds like it's not how things have been done in the past, so. Just to put that out there. To ask questions and us not know the answers doesn't seem,
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but we have another meeting before the event.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's a little too amorphous. I'm not sure. And it's a new event and it involves alcohol and it's shutting down streets. So I'm kind of with Maureen and being a little concerned to put our vote behind something that is a big deal.
I do think something to be mindful of, though, is our next meeting, I believe, is March 11th,
Yeah.
which is 5 days before this event is scheduled. So in practical terms, if we're not going to vote on this tonight, then I don't see how this event realistically would materialize. I don't know, it says pop-up, is there a particular theme associated with this, do we know, Steve? Is it St. Patrick's Day?
I'm assuming it's gonna be a St. Patrick's Day beer truck and food and.
Right, I mean, because I don't think we should, be, quelching these opportunities for these pop-ups. I don't know, I mean, I guess the question is, what is it that they're going to be able to answer for us on the 11th that is going to sway the decision-making? One of the members of the board is actually, she has a business that, in the affected area, so I assume that would be the case. The only other business I can think of, Steve, would be, well, the barber shop's on the corner. The town cobbler, I think, is
In that area.
just in there, on the edge of that, and there's a vaping shop, right?
Right.
There's nothing else.
I saw this as, people are downtown, maybe they'll go into some of the other retail stores
Yeah.
around there.
It feels
So,
like a draw to the downtown. I mean, I don't know. I mean, would I prefer people here? Of course. Do I think that we should kill the event, that they're asking for a 3-hour pop-up? I mean, it's a pop-up event. We know the organization. They know what the rules are relative to it, so, and I think that we're saying no to it, basically, if we're pushing it off to the 11th in practical terms.
So I don't
Maureen?
think we're saying no to it. We have a date before. It's not that they're not here. They didn't fill out a liquor license application, which is what, as our duty to give out liquor license, you're supposed to fill out an application. They didn't, it's a not complete application. We don't give out liquor licenses based on, if we want to go that way and say if they get it in, we can do it, but I don't see why we can't wait till March 11th. They can go ahead, pending approval, but also, it's not that they're just not here, it's they didn't fill out an application.
I mean, I think a liquor license application, I agree with you, it's certainly important to me, Maureen. And we have had votes in the past that are contingent upon certain conditions. I mean, some of them, I think, for example, even the liquor establishments, we've had subject to fingerprinting. I know in some cases, Sherry, fingerprinting hadn't been done by the time of the meeting, but we voted contingent upon those fingerprints coming back fine, and that's not been an issue. So it's not unprecedented for this board to have that kind of a vote, subject obviously to their submitting a liquor license. They're a known entity to us, and I don't think in practical terms that if we approve something on Monday, March 11th, they're going to be able to have, any opportunity to promote it. And I don't think that it would be appropriate for them to be promoting the event between now and March 11th without any sort of at least provisional approval. I think approval subject to their submitting the liquor license application, which we know is not a detailed document, and we know that they've submitted them in the past without issue. If this were a new group, perhaps the perspective would be different, but they are known to us. I don't know. Is it bad form? Perhaps. Should they have submitted the application? Yes. Does it mean that we kill the event because we don't have the one page if we can approve it subject to it? I don't know. I think it's something we need to think about.
Julie?
I tend to agree with Maureen. I think certainly this is a known group, and I think we all think they'll do the right thing, but I get nervous when it's alcohol and it's maybe a food truck that's coming in that might interfere with other restaurants, and do we know whether they've talked to the other businesses, albeit there are only a few businesses there? It's around a holiday that's a big drinking holiday. I have some questions. And I would like to have them answered, and I think that just as we know them, they know us, and if they can come back with those questions and they're consistent with, what they can expect from us, then I think that they can have some comfort that they'll get their approval on the 11th.
Further discussion? Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we can't vote on the liquor license because it's not before us,
No.
but is there a way, I mean, certainly if, my instinct would be that this does sound like, in reading the letter and seeing the people on it and trusting the kind of event they put on, something I would certainly vote for. And I would say that, if they come in and it sounds the way it's presented, they're going to get at least a positive vote from me. So I don't know if there's a way we can couch it so, we trust them to do the right thing, they trust us to do the right thing, move forward on it, knowing that on March 11th, if your ducks are in a row, the majority of us, I think, would be in favor of it. I just don't know if we can, how to suggest a vote or a
Mr.
discussion that way.
Mr. Mullen?
Yeah, I think that's okay. Good. If the council is so inclined, we could, because they do need to fill out some
Yeah.
paperwork and fill out these other questions, answer these questions. I just conferred with Tom. The council could approve it, subject to ratification at our March 11th meeting. That would at least allow them to go and maybe get, I don't even know who they're using for the food.
It says an area restaurant.
Right, but I don't know who
so
that
you're
is.
hoping- yeah,
I don't know who
right.
that is. I don't know who the local brewery is.
Right, absolutely.
So this would at least let them go out, hey, we have the date approved, might let them go and actually schedule people and promote an event.
So
Might-
kind of like what we just did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony, yeah.
Ed, I'm sorry.
I think if we do end up doing that, then any of the concerns that anyone has on the board can be addressed on the 11th, and we can
Right.
set conditions on the 11th. If there's an issue about, alcohol consumption or whatever the case is, we can address all those concerns on the 11th, but then at least it allows them to move forward with the promotion.
Sure.
And they know, and I think going forward, it has to be made clear that,
Right.
Main Streets is like any other organization, they're expected to have everything in order, and present before us. This is already a pretty tight timeline. And I think, we should approve it with ratification to be on the 11th. And if there are any concerns that result from their presentation before us, we address it on the 11th, but we don't kill the event.
And we would still have the ability to shut them down if those conditions weren't met.
Or just not,
Oh, yeah.
not
I
vote,
think
Okay.
we would say
absolutely.
absolutely,
Vote
yeah.
against
Okay.
it.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Vote against it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
I'm
So
happy with that.
So I would move to vote to preliminary, I guess, tell me, is it preliminary approval or just approval, subject to ratification on the 11th?
I think, Steve probably said it best, approval subject to ratification on the 11th.
So I would move for approval, subject to ratification at the March 11th meeting.
So their first motion, they should maybe withdraw. You have a motion on the table. You
We-
might want to, hate to be Robert Rulesies on you.
Okay,
but
nope, you're right.
Maybe you want to withdraw yours.
Paul, withdraw your
You mo-
motion.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay, excellent. And a new motion on the floor is
So
it?
my new motion is to approve the request of Wakefield Main Streets, subject to ratification after hearing from them on March 11th with regard to their March 16th event.
Second.
Discussion on the new motion on the floor?
That answers my concerns.
Okay.
Putting it in that term.
My only 2 cents worth on this is that, Main Streets should have representation here on the 11th, or they will not get the okay from this board. All those in favor? All those opposed? None? Motion carries. We have a bunch of the cable contract for RCN. Steve, you want to touch on that?
No, I'm going to turn that right over to Tom Mullen.
Even better.
But we don't,
Just very briefly, the RCN cable license is up for renewal. The last day of the current 10-year term is March 8th, 2019. I hope to have a a final renewal license for you to vote on and sign at your next meeting. That's going to be after the renewal date, but it's actually more the norm than the exception for these things to go past the renewal date, at least by a short period of time. I've been in touch with Tom Steele, who represents RCN. He has done so for a very long time. When I called to initiate negotiations, each of us was amazed that the other still exists. So RCN, after some back and forth, has proposed to pay 4.5% as a franchise fee, that is, continue to do so, to continue to provide their fiber iNet for town use. They propose to offer 1% of gross cable service revenues to support PEG access. PEG is, public, educational, and government. And that works out to about $11,500 a year. And they will provide 3 high-definition channels for PEG access in addition to the 3 standard definition that already exist. I've I have the advantage of input from Todd Bowen and Tom Stapleton, both of whom have been very helpful, and Tom Stapleton has looked at the proposal by RCN and agrees with me that it is a good one. And I should note that we have very limited bargaining power in this field, in large part because RCN is the smallest by far of the town's 3 cable providers. In fact, they only have 830 subscribers. And there is in this field something called the level playing field concept. That is, that we cannot demand more on a net basis from one provider than we demand from others. So RCN does provide us some benefits through the iNet and otherwise that we don't otherwise get from Verizon and Comcast. So I just want to tamp down expectations of getting significantly more than has been offered.
Mr. Stapleton, did you have something to say?
Hi, Tom Stapleton here, Director of WCAT. And as Town Council Mullen mentioned, the contract doesn't look bad at all, considering what we had before. I can't believe that 10 years has gone by since the last one. Excuse me. This is quite, a little bit better. It really is. And as Town Council Mullen said, that we don't have an awful lot of bargaining right here, but there are a couple of issues that, technical things, that I'd like to bring in my chief technical person to talk to about that. Is that something that we should do now or later?
Later?
Later? Okay. All right, then.
I think go through Tom. I think Tom's handling that.
Okay.
We'll do that later.
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
do-
we'll go through Tom.
Yep.
All right, fine. But overall, yeah, it's good to say, and it's another 10 years, and that's a good sign, too. I think some of the other contracts that are going on aren't that long, so that's a plus, so. I think within the next time that we meet, we'll be in touch with Town Council and iron out some of the other details.
Thank you.
Julie?
Can I just ask a question? So, in full disclosure, I'm on the board of WCAT, but it made me wonder as we're getting back into contract negotiations and with some of the history on, or challenges we expect to be facing with the FCC ruling, what is the status of our CATV advisory committee? It's listed on the website with active members. What role do they play?
Right now, I think that there are 3 active members, right? I don't believe that they've been particularly active at all in recent years.
No, they really haven't been. There are 3 people. It's Cable Advisory Board, that's how I know it. And they have not been active. And I don't know, the process, most of these contracts that we have are out 10 years and so on like that. So I don't think there was anything that needed to be done at that point. But I don't know what else to say about why they haven't been
I mean, I guess my observation is if we have a committee that we don't need, maybe we don't need the committee. Or on the flip of that, maybe it is a committee that, again, given some changes in the cable industry, and possible rulings, that we want to get more active and engaged, to be kind of a conduit between WCAT and all the good work you do and the community. So I would just throw those two options out for future reference.
Further questions? Paul?
Didn't we have one liaison from our board? Wasn't Betsy Delat's member, wasn't she on the advisory?
Who's that?
Betsy Sharon? Wasn't she part of that at one point?
I don't think so, because,
Steve, can you
I mean,
refresh?
I
know
think
that-
10 years ago, when
Yeah.
this was done with RCN, she was.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. The last contract was, she was involved in that. I think the selectmen, as they called them back then, worked that contract out.
I'm talking about the advisory board itself. You don't know who, there aren't any members currently?
There are three members. Yeah,
Oh, there are?
yeah, there are
Okay.
currently.
They have expirations April 2019 through April 2020, so they're active.
Okay.
Anyway, just something for future discussion. I don't think we have to deal with it now.
Further questions? And there's not going to be a vote until the contract is ready, so thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom, thank you, Tom.
Next up, we have the approval of 3 liquor licenses. The first one is for the Linfield Mom Group on March 8th at the Crystal Community Club.
I move that we approve the Linfield Moms Group liquor license
Second.
for a fundraiser.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. The next is the Doyle School PTO. That fundraiser is going to be April 6th at the AmeriCal Civic Center.
I move that we approve the permit for the Doyle School PTO on April 6th.
Second.
So we're going to waive that fee, Steve?
Yes,
Okay.
all Wakefield nonprofits are waived.
Good.
By policy.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Next up, we have the committee to reelect Wayne Tarr, March 5th at the AmeriCal Civic Center.
I move that we approve the liquor license for the committee to elect Wayne Tarr.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. We have a Class 2 license application for Highland Motorsports.
That is going to be tabled till next week.
Okay.
Trent McCarthy's client was not available this evening.
Tabled?
Or, I'm suggesting it's tabled.
Move to table to March 11th.
To our next meeting. Give a motion by it.
Can I get a
Second.
All those in favor to table the Class 2 motor license?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. That is tabled. Appointments. Board of Registrars for the Republican Party. We have one applicant, Eugenia M. Coffin.
I move that we approve Eugenia Coffin to the Board of Registrars for the Republican Party.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Eugenia is appointed. Approval of the February 11th regular board minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the approval of the regular board minutes from February 11th? No discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none. The next board meeting for March 11th, 2019. And we have matters not anticipated by the chairperson within 48 hours of the meeting. So Julie, you want to start?
Sure. Thank you, Tony. I guess my first observation is it was really nice to see Jen McDonald here and to see the outcome of that process. I think that the town is best served when we hire people from a pool, looking at both internal candidates and internal knowledge, and balance that with external postings and external. And I know we have a number of jobs from entry level all the way to director. We have a number of retirements coming up, and I would just encourage, and Steve and I have talked about this, encourage Steve and our personnel policies to encourage both internal and external pools so that we get the best candidates and we have some diversity and lots of talent. So on other fronts, I wanted to congratulate the Wakefield High School winter sports are in their finals, I guess we could say. And this weekend, we had the first girl ever from Wakefield win a state championship in wrestling. And it's really, really exciting. My daughter's the manager for the wrestling team, and it's been a great wrestling team. And to see Anna Valdivino, a freshman, take state title is really, really exciting. And not only that, she was awarded the outstanding wrestler for the whole tournament. So congratulations to Anna.
She pinned every match.
She pins every match. She's apparently
Oh my gosh.
incredible.
Unbelievable.
So super excited to see what she's going to do in Wakefield and celebrate her. The Environmental Sustainability Committee nominations are due this Wednesday at 4:30. So if anybody is interested, please send an application, cover letter, resume to Sherry. Thank you for that. I know the DPW is out with a windy night, so good luck to them. And so nice to see everybody here in red for American Heart Association Month. So thank you.
Ed?
Thanks, Tony. I have two things. One, picking up on that point, the American Heart Association asked us to wear red for tonight's meeting for their Awareness Month. I think it's important to realize that heart disease is the #1 killer of women. Nearly 1 in 4 women die from heart disease. It's often thought of as, it's often known as a man's disease, and in fact, it's a significant killer of women. So I think the more awareness we can bring to that, the better, because there's a lot of prevention that can be done, and a lot of healthy living, healthy heart living that can be done. So I encourage everyone to take the red and take it to mean what it is, the awareness that we're trying to promote. Last week we had a fantastic turnout, about 100 or 100 plus people at the Geldman Middle School to talk about the downtown revitalization efforts. VHB, the group that we've partnered with, and they've been a strong team member of ours for about 2 decades now, did a great job of managing and facilitating breakout sessions to talk about opportunities and any issues relative to what we're looking to do downtown. So that community conversation has just begun. It will continue in the weeks and months to come. If you weren't able to make it, the next meeting is March 21st. And that will be heavily promoted on social media and the newspaper and also by word of mouth. So it's so important. There were so many takeaways, and the nice thing about VHB is because they work with so many other communities, we're able to kind of get a sense of where we stack up. And speaking with our teammates there afterwards, they said not only was it the number of people that turned out, which is fantastic, but also the quality of the engagement of those that did attend. You know, there were a lot of really thoughtful ideas, questions, concerns, and opportunities that were presented. And so I think it was a really unique forum, and there's plenty more opportunities, you know, for your voice to be heard in this important project. So I encourage you to engage and become involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
I also wanted to touch on the downtown revitalization effort in that the program that was held. It was one of the most engaging program I've been involved in to really see what we can do with downtown, and how VHB set it up with the 6 stations with the huge maps, and you had sticky notes and you just slapping them all over the place. No idea was too crazy. No idea was shut down. There was a lot of agreement. There was disagreement at the table, really civil, very supportive. I met people I had never met before. It wasn't just the same old faces, and I know we're talking about having perhaps interactive maps online, so people who don't have a chance to go to the meetings can play with those and give their suggestions. But I really think once this, I feel like we're executing something we have talked about for a long time. So that's really exciting, and I believe that there will be so much public engagement that you will not be able to criticize this project for not being transparent or open to the public based on what I saw. So there's so many
That's highly
ways.
suspect.
Well, I'm trying.
I know.
I'm giving it a shout that there's no reason to stand up and say that we don't know what's happening, because there's so many ways to find out what's happening. So I thought it was great. Also want to congratulate our winter teams. Boys hockey team made it to the state tournament, first time in 6 years. It was a short life lived. They lost this afternoon. However, they fought valiantly, actually making it to the tournament. So congratulations on them. Basketball, I know, is coming up. So good week for Wakefield.
Thank you, Ann. Sherry? Maureen?
Just to reiterate something that was said when we started this meeting at 7, Wave was here, so they're asking everyone, to all the men in town, to go to their Facebook page or to go to our website, their website, waveonline.org, and sign the pledge. And please make every effort to come to their event on March 26th at the Savings Bank Theater in honor of White Ribbon Month. And then just the other event to tell people about coming up, the Human Rights Commission had told us earlier they are doing their International Women's Day panel next week at 7 p.m. on the 5th, also at the Savings Bank Theater. So I hope to see everyone there. They've got a great panel, including our Board of Health, one of our Board of Health officials, Allison Melman.
Excellent. Thank you. Paul?
Thank you, Tony. Real quickly, I was reviewing the tan from Mr. Mayo that he sends out to us. I actually enjoy getting these on a regular basis because it actually highlights what we're doing in the community behind the scenes. I do like to stress the point of us working on hiring that economic development position to help us work with attracting businesses to this town and to working with us on a wider scope of the necessities of the community, other than just from a planning stage of looking in. So the town needs certain things, so I look forward to that one component. I do like the fact that most of us had the opportunity to wear red today in honor of the American Heart Association's drive for the awareness for heart disease in women. It's always something to look at and say that's a unified support of that. Other than that, I have nothing further, sir.
Good. Mr. Mullen?
Just want to briefly update you about the opioid litigation. You'll recall that the town is represented here by Scott & Scott, a national firm, and locally, local counsel is Anderson and Krieger. All of this on a contingent fee basis. Our lawyers filed a complaint in Middlesex Superior Court on December 3. And I'm happy to say that the strategy that I reported on to you in the fall of filing first in Worcester, so that the inevitable motion to remove to federal district court would be heard by a former municipal lawyer, the one federal judge in Worcester, was brilliant, and it succeeded. He ruled the right way, and in fact, the defendants have now abandoned all attempt at removing Massachusetts cases to federal district court. So all of the cases, Wakefield, Linfield, Gloucester, all of these cases are going to be heard in state court. And they are going to be heard, in fact, in the business litigation section of the Superior Court in Boston, where the Attorney General's case is pending, and our lawyers are coordinating with the Attorney General. Scott & Scott have issued document requests and interrogatories. They've taken at least one deposition so far. The defendants are now moving for a stay of discovery pending their motion to dismiss, which has not yet been filed. And there's no way we're going to accede to that. So our people will be opposing that very vigorously. So I'll keep you apprised.
Nice. Thank you, Tom. Awesome. Nice work. Stephen?
I'm good, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
A couple of things. I'll just, tomorrow we have the boys high school varsity basketball first playoff game at the field house at 7 o'clock, so hopefully you can come down and support your teams. I will be there. Friday, March 1st is the WEF Spelling Bee at the Wakefield Elks. I think it's their 4th annual one, so there's still a couple of tables open. I'll be there as well as too. And those of you who are looking for something to do on Sunday, the 3rd, it is Super Sunday for WBA. If you want to come down to the high school and watch 7 or 8 hours of just fantastic basketball, ranging from boys and girls, 3rd, 4th grade, up until, 7th and 8th grade, it's just a great day, and I hope to see you there as well. That concludes our meeting for tonight. Thank you all for a great and spirited meeting.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.